Good evening, and welcome to this special entertainment investigative report, where we are breaking down the absolute chaos that just unfolded on the world's most watched talent stage. Tonight, we are analyzing an event so unprecedented that it has forced network executives into emergency meetings regarding the official rulebook of modern television competitions. Standing directly under the blinding lights of the main stage, a 27-year-old hopeful looked into the eyes of the industry's most notoriously brutal critic and confessed a deep, paralyzing fear of being permanently defined by past failures. What transpired over the following minutes did not just shatter previous broadcast rating records. It entirely disrupted the operational mechanics of the competition, leaving an entire stadium audience and the production staff visibly overwhelmed with emotion. While mainstream viewers are fully aware that achieving a golden buzzer is a rare, life-altering milestone, absolutely no one in the arena was prepared for the administrative chaos that would unfold when this specific vocalist hit his final, seemingly impossible note. The sheer magnitude of this performance caused a historic operational disruption, prompting immediate questions about whether the judges deliberately colluded to bypass the show's strict voting protocols. Behind the scenes, sources close to the production claim that executive handlers were completely by the sudden shift in the judges' behavior, sparking an intense debate that is currently dominating entertainment headlines across the globe. As we dissect the footage line by line, it becomes increasingly clear that we are looking at a highly strategic turning point in reality television history, where the raw emotional output of a single individual managed to entirely overpower a multi-million-dollar media machine. To truly understand the gravity of this sudden rise to global prominence, our investigative team had to look far beyond the polished television cameras and deep into the subject's challenging financial baseline prior to the 2026 broadcast season. Before stepping onto the pristine stage in London, this powerhouse vocalist was living a starkly contrasting reality, working exhausting double shifts as a service waiter in the competitive hospitality sector of Glasgow. While carrying heavy food orders and managing demanding customer relations, he was quietly funding his own education at a local theater academy, harboring a massive vocal capability that remained largely unrecognized by the general public. Furthermore, public records reveal a history of intense professional heartbreak, including a devastating early elimination from a major televised singing competition in Southeast Asia back in 2019. An event that left him with severe psychological reservations about his future in the music industry. He openly communicated to show handlers that this audition was his final, desperate attempt to break what he internally referred to as a permanent curse of being an industry runner-up. Our investigative team has uncovered that just hours before his scheduled audition, a sudden crisis of confidence almost caused him to completely abandon his slot and forfeit his flight back to London. This hidden internal conflict adds a profound layer of gravity to his performance, transforming his presence on stage from a standard talent showcase into a high-stakes psychological battle against his own historical limitations. The transition from manual labor to international television scrutiny is a path fraught with immense psychological pressure, and our analysis shows that every line of his face told a story of survival before he even uttered a single note into the microphone. The atmosphere inside the auditorium completely altered the exact moment the contestant initiated his rendition of Prince's iconic masterpiece, Purple Rain. Rather than delivering a standard, static performance, he immediately took command of the entire physical space, physically detaching the microphone from its stand and instantly shifting the room's dynamic from an amateur audition to a high-caliber stadium concert. The live audience reacted with such overwhelming intensity that the physical decibel levels within the arena threatened to overwhelm the sensitive broadcast audio equipment. Observers noted that the crowd's rhythmic chanting for judicial intervention became so deafening that the judges were visibly unable to communicate with one another at the desk. A close frame-by-frame analysis of the broadcast footage reveals a highly specific microexpression on his face, signaling a sudden realization that the entire power dynamic of the season had just been completely hijacked by a single performer, who has historically prided himself on maintaining absolute control over the trajectory of the series, appeared genuinely stunned by the sheer sonic authority displayed on stage. Before the final chorus had even concluded, conceded to the immense public pressure, and initiated the first official golden buzzer activation of the season, showering the stage in symbolic gold confetti. This decisive action secured the vocalist an immediate advancement to the high-stakes live semifinals. But as our investigative team discovered, this initial victory was merely the catalyst for an even larger systemic controversy. As the live semifinals commenced, the operational pressure backstage reached a critical maximum, with industry insiders openly questioning if the performer could replicate his initial viral success under the uncompromising parameters of a live television broadcast. For this crucial appearance, the artist made the incredibly risky tactical decision to perform a highly demanding rock anthem, "Dream On," accompanied by a full-scale gospel choir arrangement. Music theorists and vocal coaches online immediately flagged this choice as an immense logistical gamble, given the extreme upper-register vocal control required to execute the song's legendary climax without experiencing vocal fatigue. However, as the performance reached its sonic peak, Judge Holden executed a maneuver that left the control room in a state of absolute administrative panic. Defying the established structural rules of the entire global franchise, Holden bypassed standard voting procedures and aggressively slammed the golden buzzer for a second time, a phenomenon that is explicitly prohibited within a single competitive cycle. Leaked communications from the production truck confirmed that frantic audio cues were exchanged between executive producers and the floor managers as they scrambled to determine how to handle this unprecedented breach of broadcast protocol. This sudden administrative anomaly triggered a massive wave of public debate across media platforms, with industry analysts questioning whether the second buzzer would be legally recognized by the network's compliance department, or if it was merely an unauthorized theatrical stunt designed to maximize viewer engagement metrics. While the mainstream media focused entirely on the historical double buzzer event, our international digital forensics team tracked a highly sophisticated, hidden narrative developing across global online forums. Sharp-eyed cultural analysts noticed a very specific, intricate piece of jewelry adorned on the performer's right ear during his high-profile semifinal appearance. This accessory was not a random choice made by the show's wardrobe department. Rather, it was an exact, deliberate replication of the legendary ear cuff worn by Miss Universe Gray during her historic international victory. This subtle cultural emblem immediately ignited a massive wave of speculative analysis across global digital networks, with millions of international viewers realizing the profound subtext of his appearance. Our analysis indicates that this minute styling choice was actually a highly calculated signal, aimed directly at a massive, hyper-engaged global voting demographic, effectively turning a localized British broadcast into an international cultural movement. By carrying the visual symbolism of his ancestral homeland into a Western media space, the performer successfully framed his journey as something far greater than a personal quest for reality television stardom. The strategic use of this cultural insignia served as an unspoken rallying cry, mobilizing an immense network of digital support that began systematically manipulating online engagement algorithms to ensure his content remained at the absolute top of global trending feeds. However, this rapid ascent to international prominence was met with a swift and highly critical counter-narrative from professional circles within the entertainment industry. Following the conclusion of the semifinal broadcast, Several independent sound engineers and acoustic purists began publishing detailed technical breakdowns across social media platforms, alleging significant post-production interference. The controversy centered around the heavy application of broadcast-grade vocal processing tools, specifically immense levels of studio reverb, automated pitch correction tracking, and strategic stereo audio delays integrated into the live television mix. Speculation rapidly intensified, with critics arguing that the network's production team had intentionally modified the live audio feed to artificially enhance the sonic depth of the performance, thereby guaranteeing a highly marketable, viral media moment. Professional acoustic analysts launched a public investigation into the broadcast's audio stream, claiming they detected digital compression artifacts that heavily implied the vocals were subjected to real-time electronic enhancement. Representatives for the network remained characteristically tight-lipped regarding these technical allegations, which only served to fuel the fire among skeptics who questioned if the performer's raw, unassisted vocal capabilities could actually withstand the completely unedited, dry acoustic environment of a traditional live finale, without the cushion of network sound engineering. When the highly anticipated night of the grand finale finally arrived, the atmosphere within the production facility was dense with tangible apprehension and immense economic stakes. Stepping onto a minimalist, high-concept stage design, the artist delivered an intensely raw, emotionally stripped-down rendition of the classic track, "Nothing Compares to You," a performance that completely polarized the opinion of the room, reducing large segments of the studio audience to visible tears. Even the veteran judicial panel appeared momentarily speechless, with publicly stating that the performer had successfully captured the emotional consciousness of the entire viewing nation. Yet, as the public voting data was processed by the network's independent auditing firm, a stunning statistical anomaly materialized that left the entire studio audience in absolute disbelief. A sudden, heavy silence fell over the entire production staff, the exact moment the voting percentages were transmitted directly to the host's teleprompter, revealing a total upset in the final rankings. Despite maintaining an overwhelming statistical lead across social media metrics throughout the week, the performer was completely locked out of the top 3 positions, officially concluding his historic run in a highly controversial 4th-place finish, a result that immediately sparked widespread allegations of voting system irregularities among his global fan base. Ultimately, this dramatic conclusion serves as a profound case study in the shifting mechanics of modern entertainment capital, demonstrating that the official trophy is often completely secondary to long-term market viability. While the public was busy debating the validity of the final voting statistics, high-level corporate maneuvers were already taking place behind closed doors. Our investigative team has that the long-standing narrative regarding his competitive failures was decisively dismantled within minutes of the broadcast's conclusion. We can now confirm that a major international theatrical conglomerate had quietly finalized a massive West End contract with his legal representation in a private backstage green room before the winner of the show was even announced to the public. This strategic corporate acquisition secured him a leading role in a highly lucrative, upcoming global revival of the legendary theatrical production Jesus Christ Superstar. This massive career pivot effectively proves that while reality television formats require a linear winner and loser to satisfy their broadcast run, the broader entertainment industry operates on an entirely different set of rules, where viral cultural impact and raw marketability are the ultimate currencies of long-term success.